Marc Berman of the New York Post with Armen Levack. Ah, yes, Knicks season. It is here. Their opener tonight. Mark, we're back.
Yeah, it's been a long time since the Knicks have played a game that matters. Probably somewhere in early December. And once January 1st hit, the Knicks were completely dead and buried. So a new era sort of begins tonight, and let's see if they're going to be. They'll be better, but will they be much better?
At Milwaukee tonight. And, Mark, that's the question. Are the Knicks going to the playoffs this year?
I don't think so. I look at the top 8 teams from last season. The Nets will drop out of that top 8 in the East. But then you got Miami and Indiana. I feel both teams, clearly Miami is better than the Knicks. And I think the Pacers with Paul George, maybe not as deep as the Knicks, but they just have too many better players, in their starting lineup. I think the Knicks can stay in the race. I think there's going to be better chemistry this year and better defense. I think Carmelo will stay healthy, and I think they can maybe get to 35 victories, but I don't think that's going to do it. And I'm just hoping in late March I'm still on your show talking about a playoff race because there's no lottery pick for them this year. That was traded to Toronto in the horrendous Andrea trade.
I think the most shocking thing I just heard was that you want to be on this show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm in a good mood because it's the season opener. No, I love doing Albany radio. And, went to college out there and worked out there. And actually I was there the other day visiting. So, I enjoy Albany.
Mark, call us. We'll go get you a drink. God knows we owe you 50. I mean, geez.
Maybe even a sandwich.
My wife, she needed some get away from New York City for a few days.
Good for you, man. Marc Berman of the New York Post at @NYPost_Berman on Twitter. The Knicks start their season tonight. God help us, for better or worse, at Milwaukee.
Speaking of that Knicks team, Mark, we know you just left shoot-around. What's jumped out to you from shoot-around today?
Well, Fisher finally named his starting lineup, his starting shooting guard. Aflalo is out with a hamstring strain. It's bothered him all preseason. He only played 3 games, and now he could be out a couple of weeks. And he was arguably their most important signing, him and Robin Lopez. And now they're not going to have him, and now they're going to start Sasha Vujacic, the guy who hasn't really played in the NBA for 4 years. He was in Europe. He had a good training camp and knows the triangle. He's a veteran, can shoot the three-pointer, and, he's played good defense in the preseason. So Fisher's going to start him, and they want to keep that second unit, the speedy second unit with Grant and Langston Galloway and Derek Williams, wants to keep them together in the second unit. So, that was the big thing at shoot-around. Plus, Carmelo finally talked, and he was asked, what's your message to the fans? And he said, my biggest message is just be patient.
Marc Berman of the New York Post.
And I think they've been patient for a long time.
Yes, exactly.
Be patient. Charge!
Mark, is he a different Carmelo Anthony this year?
Listen, he's really showing some leadership in preseason. There were rumblings over the offseason, after the draft and during free agency that he wasn't all happy with Phil Jackson's additions, but he hasn't showed it. And I respect that. I think he's been ultra positive. In the past, when things have gone bad, he's kind of been a little mopey in the locker room, has said some really strong stuff about how depressed he is and blah, blah, blah. He's really trying to be optimistic. He's trying to embrace Phil Jackson and the plan, and he still believes in it. But listen, in mid-December, if they're well below 500 and already out of the playoff race, the tone has to change. I'd be surprised if it doesn't.
What are we looking for minutes-wise for the big rookie, Kristaps Porzingis?
Yeah, they've been talking about getting him 20 minutes. He's going to start this season, at least in the first couple of weeks. And, they're looking at 20 to 24 minutes if he stays out of foul trouble. He looked very good offensively. He's so agile. He started to rebound better. That's a big flaw in his game right now because he gets pushed around. And, you know, he still could alter shots. And the concern is, you know, defensively, if he's going to, you know, be able to hold his ground. And we'll see tonight. And the Bucks are a very good team. And Greg Monroe, he's not going to have to guard him. But, you know, the Bucks, luckily for the Knicks, they're a little injured. They don't have the Bucks are without Jabari Parker and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and so they're undermanned. So maybe Kristaps could have a good opening, but they'll be nice where he's going to get overwhelmed, I think, by bigger, stronger, older players.
Marc Berman of the New York Post. Our biggest concern about the 2015 New York Knicks should be?
Just talent-wise, I mean, do they have enough guys down the stretch of games to score the ball? Lopez is definitely not a go-to guy. Are they going to be able to load up on Carmelo and, you know, stop him? Last year and in years past, you know, there was J.R. Smith, even Shumpert, Stoudemire. You know, offensively, I'm worried if they have a secondary scorer, someone who can help Carmelo. Can Porzingis be on the court to finish games? Because he, you know, there is concern about his defense. And if he can be on the court to finish games and maybe be a secondary scorer, maybe they could be a decent club. But I have my doubts.
Now, just because the season hasn't started yet, it's a blank slate. A report card on Phil Jackson and what he's done in the offseason.
I mean, the report card on Phil Jackson is a D at best. I mean, this guy, we have to remember that he came the season after a 54-win group, and when he came in March, the same group, mostly the same group, closed out the season winning 14 of 16 games. They won 37 total, missed the playoffs by one game. And now we talk about making the playoffs and earning the 8th seed as some great accomplishment. And the bar is so low right now, and that's sad. After coming off a 17-win season, Knicks fans are going to be delighted if they're in the race in April. And it's considering he came into a situation where they had a pretty good nucleus, I think he's done a poor job. And worse, there's no draft pick, which isn't his fault. But 2016, right this second, they don't even have max money to give Kevin Durant. They have to hope Derek Williams opts out, and they have to be creative and waive Calderon and what's called a stretch provision. So going forward, they're not going to have the mammoth cap space that they had last summer. And last summer, they just did not add another real bona fide all-star.
He's Marc Berman, the authority on all things New York Knicks with the New York Post, Twitter at @NYPost_Berman. And Mark, here's the hoping that we talk to you this March and you're not as depressed as you were last year. You know, I mean, I'm worried this is about you.
It was miserable. I'm telling you, we were trying to create stories about the lottery pick and all this stuff, and it was just hard to cover the team when the games are meaningless from December on.
Mark, love you, baby. Good to hear your voice, and I'm sure we'll bother you more this season. Thank you, man.
My pleasure. Take care, guys.